Welcome everybody to the War and Peace Baseball Podcast. I'm here today with Farbod Merkazi and Alex Rudy. I am Alex Uwe, and this is our fantasy baseball edition for June. It is June 16th today, the day of our recording. How are you guys doing, by the way?
Cole Calhoun.
Cole Calhoun? You're doing Cole Calhoun, okay.
That's inappropriate.
That he said it, not me. All right. Well then, let's talk about some fantasy baseball, because I feel like we don't talk a ton about fantasy baseball. We like to talk about the top stories and all the ins and outs of all the teams around Major League Baseball and the standings and all that. But let's talk about some players. It'll be a good time. I'm gonna be kind of loosely working around the ESPN Player Rater for standard leagues, so that list is available for everybody. I'll probably make some references to my own top 100 rankings that I made before the season, so I might put the link to that on our website there too, if you are interested in seeing that. But let's go ahead and start. Clayton Kershaw is the top player in all of fantasy.
Who?
He's the top player in all of fantasy according to ESPN's Player
He's
Rater.
only like the best pitcher on the planet.
He only is. And I think the only argument that you can have with Clayton Kershaw is can you take him number one overall in a fantasy draft? Or would you? If you knew what you knew right now going into a season, would you take him number one overall?
Yes.
You would.
So
if I re-ask the question.
Okay, but the thing is, that question, if we knew what's gone on so far, our first rounds would have been a lot different.
Oh, I know. That's why we're talking about it now. In the argument for Kershaw, he's been so incredibly good. Most people had him around 5 in the drafts. Would you take him number one? Over Mike Trout, over Bryce Harper, over Jose Altuve?
I would.
I'll give you a second to think about that one if you are.
Is Rudy alive?
Give me a second. I don't know. I think I killed him with that question.
What's up?
I think you killed him.
What was the question? I lagged out.
Oh, hi. Would you take Clayton Kershaw number one in a fantasy draft if you knew what you knew today going into a fantasy season, into a fantasy draft?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm good enough at fantasy baseball for like a year to year.
Don't sell yourself short. Come on.
No, because I feel like I should be, but for some reason, based on the way you're asking me, I feel like
it's not a trick question. You're allowed to say what you think. It's fine.
You can yell at him.
Can I ask
earlier?
Who would you take instead of him?
Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Jose Altuve, Mookie Betts, any of these guys.
I personally think that it's easier to find replaceable hitting. Even though we're in a poor offensive generation, then it's to find replaceable pitching.
Mm-hmm. I get that completely.
I would personally take Kershaw.
I understand that because the drop off from the top tier of pitching down to the second tier is pretty extreme, especially right now. And Kershaw's been out of this world in terms of strikeout rate. He's winning every game.
I read something. I read a stat that it said, Syndergaard has 100 and 66 strikeouts right now, but he need 133 more to catch up with Kershaw's pace. Without a walk.
Syndergaard has 166 strikeouts. There's no way that's true.
Wait, no, he has 106. And, my bad. I was reading it 2015. No, he's 106 strikeouts right now, and he'd need 130 more to catch up to Kershaw
without
walking
walk.
anyone.
To catch up, to match his strikeout to walk ratio. I personally would not, only because if I did have the first overall pick, I'm confident I could get a top 5 pitcher, with my second and or third picks at the end of the second round. That's the only reason why I would say that, because I think getting a top position player is a little more difficult. I mean, there's just as much of a chance that could pay off, but you're not going to be able to get like a Nolan Arenado or a Mookie Betts that late, but you could still possibly get like a Madison Bumgarner or Steven Strasburg and Noah Syndergaard with those picks, or Chris Sale. Like, those guys will slip down to that late in rounds. That's the only reason I would say that. Kershaw's been amazing, though. Let's talk about the top the top 5 hitters, top 6 hitters: Jose Altuve, Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, Ian Kinsler, Starling Marte, Ian Desmond, Jonathan Villar. Absolutely nobody would have guessed this order. There's a severe lack of Mike Trout and Bryce Harper. Mike Trout's very close behind. He's like right after that. But Bryce Harper is quite a bit lower down on this just because of how much he's struggled lately. And, the on-base percentage and walks don't really help him in standard leagues. So, what are you going to do with that, really? So, what do you guys think of that, though? Like, of a few of these players that I mentioned, who do you like the most? Like, Xander Bogaerts has been playing out his mind, but nobody would consider him a top 10 pick in a draft normally. But now, can you make that argument? Would you take Xander Bogaerts top 10?
I mean, if I knew what I knew today, it depends on.
Even if it's all about projectability. So
I wouldn't take him top 5, but top 10, possibly. Yeah,
you would. Okay, because you have to think about the guys he might be leapfrogging. Like, you would take him over Miguel Cabrera, for instance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you take him over Nolan Arenado?
This is Bogarts, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
I like Arenado more.
You could argue why, especially considering third base is a cheaper position than short.
Yeah, shortstop is a very shallow position, but then again, there are 3 shortstops in the top 10 of the player rater right now.
Yeah, knowing what I know about Arenado's just career numbers, I just personally couldn't convince myself to do that, but you could definitely argue with me and tell me I'm wrong.
I would still personally take Nolan Arenado, even though he doesn't provide the stolen bases. He does have a huge bump from Coors Field, and I think the home run pace is going to last. Like, he's going to hit 40 home runs, at least. And he has. He's done it, so I have no reason to think otherwise. Well, okay then. I like background noise. Let's keep talking about players, though. What's going on? Is there is there voodoo happening?
Whoa.
Okay. All right. Another one of my favorite players, Mookie Betts. Would you take him top 5?
Top 5, no.
No, you wouldn't. Rudy, would you? I think you might be a little more inclined than Farbode.
Can I use a cop-out and say it depends on the league?
In a standard ESPN league. In the one that the 3 of us are in.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, top 5, I feel like there's... Okay, Mookie Betts is a very good player. It's just, you have to see who you could be taking instead of him, or who you wouldn't be taking. Like what you said, who he's leapfrogging. Because top 5, do you mean 1, 2, 3, or 4 and 5?
I think I have him 5. To be fair, right now, I would have.
So he'd be leapfrogging a what? Not a Trout or a.
So right now, I'm gonna rank Kershaw number 1, even though personally I wouldn't take him number 1, but I do think he's deservedly ranked as a number 1 overall draft pick. So I would go Kershaw, Altuve, Trout, Harper, and then Betts.
You said Kershaw, Altuve, Trout, Harper, Betts?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I think that's very...
reasonable?
Fair.
Because, the guys I kicked out...
I can't argue with you, really, on that. That's very...
The guys I kicked out of my top 5 are Paul Goldschmidt, who I had ranked number 1 overall, and I was quite wrong about that.
Could you make the argument that Betts right now would be above Harper, too?
I could make that argument. I wouldn't go so far to do it just because...
Not for the rest of the season.
Just because of how good Harper was when he was on.
But I'm just saying, right now. Oh, no, I know. No, that's why I'm saying not for the rest of the season, because we all expect Harper to, figure his shit out.
Oh, if the season ended today? Well, obviously, Mookie Betts is if the season ended today, the Mookie Betts is the 4th best player. So, yeah. But, I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about projectability. Harper, I think, still would be more productive than Betts in a full schedule, even though he has struggled. I still think his talent is too great. He hits for average, he hits for power, He doesn't run a lot. He runs a little bit, but I think it's still well worth it over Mookie Betts. So I was just gonna say though that the guys I kicked out of my top 5 going into the season would be Paul Goldschmidt, who I ranked number 1, and I was very, very wrong about him. But I have a feeling might not be as wrong as I thought. Like, people have Paul Goldschmidt out of their top 10s, and I think that's a little bit rash, because I think Paul Goldschmidt is still going to hit for power, which he has been. He's going to run, which he still has been stealing bases. You know, he's gonna steal around 20, probably a little bit less, but that is very, very worthwhile, and the average is going to climb back up, because that is very uncharacteristic of him to start a season like that. So he was out of my top 5, and Josh Donaldson was out of my top 5, who I had ranked above Trout, and now that was probably not the right way to go with that. So I have Mookie as a top 5 player. So that's just me. Any other of these guys that you wanted to touch on or talk about at all? By the way, and like, you know,
Robinson Cano's resurgence caught me off guard quite a bit.
Yes, that's a good player to talk about, because you were probably one of the biggest pessimists about Robinson Cano.
Are the Yankees part of you, though?
I think part of that was just the bitter Yankees.
I mean, I can't deny I didn't really want him to succeed, considering he left the Yankees, and I mean, come on, no one leaves the Yankees for the Mariners. I mean, that's like not like a traditional thing.
Jesus Montero did. Not
there's no doubt. Well, we traded Jesus Montero.
I'm kidding.
There's no doubt that I kind of it made me feel
betrayed.
No, but it made me, like, I was like, okay, good thing he didn't return, because he sucks now. But I also always love Robinson Cano, don't you know?
Don't you know?
And it does also make me happy to see him kind of returning to what made him at one point, top 5 player in the game.
Yeah, and 2 years ago, I drafted him with my first pick, not first overall. I used my first round pick on Cano, and that was 2 years ago when he first signed with the Mariners. And this is what I thought he was going to do that year, and he did not do that, and it was very disappointing. And then as the season went on, though, I realized that Cano is still a very productive player, even in that 1 year, just in terms of like the batting average he provided, the counting numbers he provided. The power was the only thing missing there, really. And now the power's back, so he's scary good again. Like, do you think he hits? Do you think he can get to 35 home runs? I think he'll get to 30.
I don't think he'll get to 35.
Has he ever even hit 35 home runs?
No, he's hit 33 when he was 29 in 2012.
I mean, but he's hitting them though, and he's in a good enough lineup that'll protect him. I mean, I don't know. He's as comfortable as he's ever been right now, and obviously things can happen going forward. But I'm just wondering. I want to get your opinion on Cano now. So I'm guessing that's kind of like a hesitant. Like, he is what he is. Like, he'll hit like high 20s home run power.
I don't think
hit 300 and 310.
The 35 is a lot of home runs, especially in that ballpark. And not trying to take anything away from Cano, but like when you're talking about, okay, he has 18 right now. Arenado is 20. Arenado plays in Coors. He has insane power, anyways. Cano, he has more of an all-around like average-wise game too. 35 is a lot of home runs. I don't think he's gonna get to 35.
All right, that's fair. Let's talk about another second baseman who's just destroying baseball, is Daniel Murphy, who still has the highest batting average in all of baseball by quite a decent margin. He's hitting everything, and he's hitting everything hard. And he's pulling pitches, and he's hitting for power. He's doing a lot more than anybody could have ever hoped of him.
I don't really get it, to be completely honest.
I mean, I guess he just decided before the postseason last year, hey, I'm going to be an insanely good hitter now. And he did it.
I gotta say, it's really one of the more bizarre.
To be fair, there was a mechanical adjustment made by him last season with the Mets.
He's never hit more than 14 homers in a year. He has 11 right now.
It has clearly worked for him, whatever adjustment he's made, and he's just rolling with it. He's absolutely destroying it.
Do you think there is a chance that this is not a natural progression in his career.
I'm not going to speculate at all. I refuse to speculate. But
well, you are no fun.
I don't like speculating on steroids.
I don't want to I don't want to do that. Like, there could be, but I don't want to. I want to, as long as there's nothing no reports of it, I want to assume that it's him.
So the thing is, he has always been a very highly rated hitter. Like his hitting tool ability has always been very high. He's always been notoriously difficult to strike out. Makes a lot of contact. Hits for a decently high average normally. The thing is, I think he's just taken that level to the next game. A kind of weird comparison would be Francisco Lindor, which is kind of weird considering he's in his sophomore season and just destroying baseball right now, and he destroyed last year in his rookie season, but he was never projected. He had a very highly rated hit tool and was never projected to hit for much power, and then something about his approach or his mechanics or something made him more...
He said the other day that he concentrates more.
That's a good thing. I don't know if it's just that, but something about Lindor's approach causes him to hit more home runs, and he's hit more home runs in the major leagues than he has at any other level in his minor league development. He's not a power hitter, and I think that's a similar development. Like players that have that natural hitting ability, that hand-eye coordination, that ability to make solid contact, can sometimes find some kind of adjustment, some kind of approach, and that's just enough for them to turn the corner and become a really good player. He's not going to hit 370 whatever the whole year, but he's going to be a really good player for the Nationals and is worth every penny of his contract so far and more. Yeah. Let's talk about another player who is kind of having a resurgence, Will Myers. Rudy, I know you like Will Myers a lot. Let's talk about him a little bit. What is your initial impression of what he's doing better this year than he has ever?
He is not hurt.
That's very true.
Ding ding ding, we have a winner. He is not hurt. But really though, he looks.
I'm not even kidding.
Do you think there's anything to him playing first base?
For 2 years, really, for more than a month, and now he's just healthy. I really think that's the only difference. I know it sounds stupid and way too simple. Maybe he's made minor mechanical adjustments.
No, do you think him playing first base has anything to do with his ability to just focus on hitting more?
Yes. Oh, that's a great point. 100%. I think he's much more comfortable at first base. He really was never an outfielder. He was originally a catcher for the Royals. Had made an outfielder to improve his, to make use of his bat, and I never thought he was a natural outfielder. I think it was especially unfair to put him in center field. I think that was way too much to make him handle, and why would he have been prepared for that? Why would any former catcher be able to play major league center field? I mean, the fact that he did as well as he did, I think was a testament.
Spell his name for me, Rudy.
He's supposed to always match at the major league level. I think he was traded twice. Apparently had some temperament issues here and there. Rumors. I think he's just healthy, and he's finally been able to do what he's best at, and that's just mash the ball.
The Padres are open to trading him.
That's good. They're learning. They're learning about what normal rebuilding teams can do, and that's trade the players that are very good for more prospects and good players.
Rudy, spell Will Myers for me.
WILMYERS.
Ding ding ding! We have another winner. I give Will Myers a sort of Eric Hosmer comparison, slightly lower average but more power. Because they're both very athletic first basemen that, they'll steal bases, they'll hit for some power, hit for a decent average. So, that's just my little insight on that one. Eric Hosmer also having a great season.
Eric Hosmer's career is a little bit disappointing to me.
I know what you mean, and you've mentioned that to me before too. You have very high expectations for these top prospects.
Well, he was supposed to
be. It's fair.
Eric Hosmer, I don't know if people remember, but him and Hayward
and Moustakas.
They were supposed to be
I remember reading my Sports Illustrated articles as a young middle schooler,
as a young whippersnapper.
Eric Hosmer's bat speed is so incredible. He will be the next Jesus Barry Bonds 2.0 cyborg.
Jesus Barry Bonds 2.0 cyborg? I need to write that down because that's the title of the episode. Hold on.
Jesus. He's never been that.
Wait, Jesus Barry Bonds 2.0 cyborg. Okay. That's good.
He's never really lived up to that hype. I mean, he was supposed to be right there with Harper.
Yeah, that never happened.
I mean, he's great. He's a very good player, but he's really he's an above-average first baseman.
I will tell you this: he's higher on the player rater than Harper is right now.
That's ironic.
That's pure irony. So really quick, we won't go too much longer on this one. We just wanted to talk about some of the more interesting players, but I wanted to talk about a couple pitchers. Stephen Wright, who is the AL ERA leader, and Chris Tillman, who is voodoo magic. What the heck is going on with these AL East pitchers? Because none of them are particularly, highly touted pitchers, but they're pitching very, very well. Especially the knuckleballer Stephen Wright, who seems to provide lots and lots of deep starts. Like, he pitches into the late innings a lot. He's very efficient with pitch counts. Gets a decent amount of strikeouts. Like, it's kind of amazing what he's able to do.
I mean, R.A. Dickey literally did the same thing.
R.A. Dickey was a weird knuckleball. Like, R.A. Dickey even threw harder than Stephen Wright does, I think.
Maybe he's cheating.
Maybe they're all cheating. But Chris Tillman, though, really, there's no reason for him to be this good. He's one of the flattest fastballs in baseball, but he has so many swings and misses. His curveball is, he's the most generic pitcher I can think of, with, fastball, curveball, changeup combination.
Yeah, you're right. He is really generic.
But he's generically 46th on the player rater, so I don't know. Is he a top 50 starting pitcher for you, even with the numbers he's putting up? Because I just can't
50?
see it.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be top 50.
Yeah.
I mean, so what he's done so far, but he's also done really poorly in past years, and I don't see a lot that's different.
4.99 last year.
You know what I mean?
Maybe the ghost of Eric Bedard has possessed him.
Ooh, maybe.
Eric Bedard, what the
That's an interesting one. Yeah, Marco Estrada is another one of those guys who I trust a little bit more than Tillman, but not much more than Tillman. Another guy that I would be hesitant to put.
Marco Estrada's at least been hot ever since he was on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and
I feel like there's something.
He does have one of the more elite changeups in all of baseball, and he uses it very effectively. But I don't know that I trust him much more than Tillman. I would still maybe rank Estrada ahead of Tillman.
I'll say this: if I had Tillman on a fantasy team, I would try to trade him high, sell high on him.
Oh yeah, I would 100% do the same. Let's see.
Old.
Yeah. So obviously the good pitchers are good as they normally are, but there's a couple that aren't.
Bad pitchers are bad.
But there's a couple that aren't though. Like Corey Kluber is really concerning me. I traded for him in this league, in this league that we're in, and
what's wrong with his season so far?
He gets hit a lot. He gives up a lot of runs.
Like in the 3s?
It's in the 4s, I think.
I don't think so.
Let me check. It might be now because he gave up 8 earned yesterday. So.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I checked today though, and it was in the 3s.
I just spelled his name Klubet.
Oh, you're right. It's 423.
Yeah.
Is it possible that could have went up? Yeah, it was 365 though before yesterday. So
yeah, okay. So
one start kind of changed that.
But the thing is, Corey Kluber has always been viewed as a top 10 pitcher just because he has an elite whip, he has an elite strikeout rate. But at some point, you have to think his ERA will balance out with his FIP, but it just doesn't. You know what I mean? His ERA is just always a lot higher than it should be, except for that one Cy Young season. The strikeouts are still there, still striking out more than a batter per inning. The whip is only 1.07 this season. There's a lot to like about him, but he gives up a lot of runs. He's 6-7 on the year, which doesn't really matter much, but I don't know. I really don't know. On top of yesterday's start, though, to be fair, he has pitched historically very, very bad at Kansas City, so he's probably just terrible at pitching there in general. So yeah, that's all I have to say about him though, for the most part. Yeah, any other players that were like really pressing that you wanted to talk about before we wrap this thing up?
No.
Alfredo Simon threw a 54-mile-per-hour defense.
So, Christian Bethencourt, the catcher for the Padres.
No, he's the catcher, shortstop, left fielder, pitcher, actually.
Sorry, the Christian Bethencourt, the catcher, first baseman, left fielder, pitcher for the Padres, threw a 49-mile-per-hour eephus and a 94-mile-per-hour fastball to the same batter.
Yes.
What do you do against that?
You bunt.
You break your bat in half and then walk off the field. That's what I would do.
He threw So you're telling me he threw faster than James Shields throws?
Yes. Yes.
That's kind of funny. You can't deny it.
James Shields.
10 miles per hour faster.
James Shields should have just become a backup catcher.
What's his name?
Bartolo.
Is Bettencourt considered becoming a pitcher?
I'm sure he has now. I'm sure he's going to lots of showcases and things now.
Showcases.
Drew Butera. He pitched for the Dodgers a couple years ago in the game.
That's not even a real person.
No, it is. He's on the Royals now. Yeah, he's on the Fight Club.
He threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's a good time. Mitch Moreland is also a very good position player pitcher. I remember he pitched once. There was mid-90s from the left side with a slider.
Mitch Moreland is the most generic offensive player in the game.
He is, and he does not deserve to be mentioned in any fantasy rankings because he is really nothing special. Well, not to be harsh or anything. Yeah, I think we are about ready to wrap this thing up. Though we talked about a lot of players. We did some good things today. Yeah. So, is this a new thing? We're just gonna applaud after every podcast we finish. So, yeah, thank you all for joining us. You can tweet us at WPB_podcast if you'd like. Check out our website. Link is down below for that. And our email is warandpeacebaseball@gmail.com. Leave us feedback in any way that you can. We very much appreciate it.
Shape, or form.
Any way, shape, form, medium, variety.
Cole Calhoun. All right. Thank you again. Have a good day. As always, Farbode.